What we got here is a dude that made a rap about. You guys have to hear this rap. It's so good. It's all this educational should be fair use. All right, kids, that's about it for the watermelon guy. Okay, this dude made a watermelon rap, and I'm going to give all my rapper friends. See, I got a lot of rapper friends. I don't think you guys know this shit, but the professor has some very old school. I knew guys that were famous before they were famous, and I don't know why, but I grew up in a little town that turned out lots and lots and lots and lots of rappers. Lots of rappers. And I became friends with those rappers probably in school because I did go to all black school, all black except for me. Maybe it was the tan. Maybe it was my charming personality. Who knows? Or maybe it was school district, whatever. But it worked out good for me because I did learn how to break dance and I did learn how to fight. I was in a school called Lincoln Elementary. You guys can look that up. While I was in Lincoln Elementary, my parents were going through a divorce. So one of them took one kid and I went with the mother. And so when I went to my mom's work, it was in a town called Riviera Beach. If you guys are not familiar with Florida, there's a handful of kind of rough towns that were institutionalized towns like White House. It was the ghetto. It was the ghetto of Riviera Beach, and I went to elementary school right in the middle of it. And I went from learning, basic stuff to being the number one kid in the entire school, like the number one performer in the whole school. That's when I knew this whole thing is a setup because I'm not that smart. How could I possibly be smarter than 600 other kids? It's not fucking possible. I I was only educated from one, two, three, so like 4 years. I had no education. So where was I getting all this information from? No, don't get me wrong. I read encyclopedias. We had a set of encyclopedias. I think we were missing one, but I memorized all the encyclopedias in the house. Anytime I went anywhere, I would memorize the English dictionary. I used to look at the dictionary words and then I would look at like the pronunciation and I didn't understand how pronunciation actually worked. So during this time I began to notice that either I was A special or B this was a setup. And for a guy who has no education even now as an adult, okay, it makes me wonder, was I conditioned this way to be a C and D student? Was I given a diet that made me lazy? Yes, had folic acid in it. All of us were pumped up with sugar and white flour, which made us lose focus. And a lot of people were diagnosed with ADHD when all they had was the inability to metabolize folic acid, which is in fucking everything. So let's get on to the topic of angels today. As I say the F word constantly. And does God mind? Well, why don't we ask him today? Because it seems to me that anytime that there's a problem with me, or if there's some issue, he seems to send somebody to tell me about it. Two people told me about two things that I was doing wrong. And I got so mad at these people. I was like, how dare you try and call me out? How dare you talk to me like that? You know what I mean? But I had to stop and think about it. Some people are really put on this earth to just annoy you, just to be annoying to other people. And whether or not those people have demons in them or not, it's really up to God to tell us eventually, because he's not going to tell us outright, because that is not how these beings communicate with us at all. You and I are thinking about how we can humanly conceptualize how we want to say, we would like you to move your ass across the country and go be a pastor in this church. And so you're like, what? I'm supposed to do what? And then, of course, the mind is like, first is rejected, but then God or somehow his angels somehow push me into a dangerous situation where not only am I forced to fucking leave the town that I'm in, um, it's just that I have to do it, and I have so much shit, and I have so much, time that I spent here or there or whatever, and then all of a sudden I have a fucking something threatening that we got to get rid of. Then the easiest way to do it is not to get rid of the problem, but rather move. Because here in Mexico, if you got an issue with somebody, that shit doesn't go away. You go to their house and knock them out, give your revenge all you want, but your neighbor's going to hate you after that. So you have to abide differently in other countries than you would if you're in the States and someone pisses you off. You walk over, you fucking they catch a fade with your ass. But the difference is, if you're a permanent resident here, bro, you got to live with yourself. And so I'm asking myself to take a different approach to handling dickheads. And I want you to use these techniques too, because saints of God, we're engaged in a spiritual warfare that you and I can't see. And it's going on around us all the time right now. And the only effects that we know that it exists is how people are behaving around us. And it seems to be stupid and evil. And it seems to me like it isn't just that people are dumb, it's that they're demonic and they're dumb. And I was beginning to think that, you know what? If demons are real, they sure are fucking dumb, because they sure do talk and act, and they're stupid. And all these years I was sitting there giving, demons all these fucking superpowers that they didn't actually have, because now I know that they could be bound in the name of Jesus. They could be bound in the name of Jesus, because I pray the blood of Christ upon myself and then on the person, whatever is tormenting them. And somehow it seems to work, according to what the Bible told me when I learned that as a on fire 1990s know-it-all Christian, with plaid shirts and all that shit. Yeah. Going to the extreme and saying, reject God. I don't want to deal with God. I got divorced. I was married to a woman that didn't want to be married anymore. So screw this. I'm out of here. So when we run from God, what ends up happening is our life gets progressively worse. Like, it sucks. It gets worse and worse and worse if we run from this thing that could potentially be helping us. And I've run from it several times. I ran for 20 years the last time, like a bat out of hell. And I broke my heart many, many times, and also broke myself many, many times, because there's not much that demons and the devil have to offer you that would be any better than what God can give you over time. It's just a lot of times I think that people are lazy and they want what's expedient, not what's valuable. Like, if someone would say, you know what, I want to go be the next, I want to be the guy that owns all the KFCs, but I'm unqualified to do so. I have no idea. But You know what I mean? It can't be based on feelings. These have to be things that throw your ass into the belly of the fucking whale when you have no hope left. Guys, you got to realize that there's a storm that happened when in the book of Jonah, Jonah was told by God to go to Nineveh and go preach to the people for their wickedness and have them turn from their sins and worship one God. And so he said, fuck those people. Those people are the worst people on earth, and I would die before I go help those people because I don't like them and they don't like me. So when we make plans, God goes, ha! Jonah decides he's going to go the opposite way. So when he gets in a boat, you big dummy, he gets shaken up so bad. Now, can you imagine being in just a canoe, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, just a tidal wave just whips you over and over and over again. You're holding on for dear life. You're like, fucking drowning here, and the top of the canoe, it's the bottom is the top, and the top is the bottom. So you're holding on to the edge of this canoe thingy, and you slip down into the ocean. I don't know what you'd be doing in a canoe in an ocean, but you get my point. And then out of nowhere, a giant grouper eats you. Like a grouper, you've seen a big old grouper, they're the size of a Volkswagen. A giant grouper eats you. See, Jonah had the luxury of having a whole whale. We get a grouper, a very large grouper nonetheless, but for 3 days, he describes as being in hell. Now, for any of you who have never been to jail before, there is this thing that is called solitary confinement. And a lot of times, solitary confinement is a small room that's the size of perhaps a small bathroom. And it's just large enough for you to not lay down comfortably. The walls are just wide enough for you to go to the bathroom. And you are not in contact with anybody at any time, including the guards. So if you're in solitary confinement, it's like a bit of torture. For a man who's not accustomed to dealing with his own thoughts, he would fall into madness. So as the man is progressively going closer and closer towards, let's say, 24 hours, they are uncomfortable to a level that they have not been before without physical violence. And what's happening in the mind of a man that's in solitary confinement starts off with a lot of hatred, and it's like the 5 stages of grief almost. And it is a physical and mental anguish of this being a permanent feeling. Like this is going to be fucking forever. You're never getting out of here. And that is just the mindset of how easy it is to break a man's spirit in his mind. So to all the people out there who say that people have problems with mental illness and stuff like that, and that nothing can be done, I'm here to tell you as living proof for someone who has been in jail and who has been locked up and has had made mistakes, that I know that if God had not sent these angels to save my life, I would not be talking to you today. Unless I'm already dead, because I should be. I should have been dead already. Now, I want to tell you this story about my own brother. My brother at one time was an ecstasy dealer down in Miami. And while he was DJing, he had girls running around these clubs and he was selling rolls. And he was making a fucking fortune. And the local guys got mad at him, decided they were going to go rob his house. He had home invasion. And they broke in his house, and he's fighting with one guy with a shotgun, and another guy pulls out a pistol and pulls the trigger. As point blank as I am to this camera here. And he pulled the trigger, and the gun went off. And behind my brother was a small painting about 4 inches by 4 inches of a tiger on the wall. And right behind my brother, the bullet had gone through him and in through the wall, but he had no markings on him whatsoever. So this is the second time where a bullet has whizzed past me that it should have gone through me, and a bullet went through him, but it didn't go through him. It went into that painting of that tiger on the wall, and that was the last day that I thought maybe he would have a coming to Jesus moment, and he would stop selling ecstasy, and he would stop, you know, selling steroids or whatever, and stop being an alcoholic or whatever. But the alcoholics that drink don't do well. But there's an old saying that God protects babies and alcoholics. And I got to tell you, fellas, that I have escaped death on more than one occasion, to the point where I don't recall even being there. And so I'm going to go take you guys all the way back to Frankfurt, Germany, about 1998, 1999. And I take three tourists who had just arrived into Germany to the brothels in Frankfurt, which is right outside the train station. And I figured these hard up little, Christian boys, I'm going to corrupt them real good. And so on the train on the way, I have a bottle of whiskey, and I really wanted to get these guys fucking hammered, and and so they could be enjoying the misery with me. So I'm passing the bottle to them, and they're kind of like, "Yeah, okay, thanks." And I'm like, jug, 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 guzzling this shit. And then by the time we get to the train station in Frankfurt, I'm falling off the fucking platform. And I think I'm hilarious. My friends look at me, and they don't tell me till later on that it's a lot like being with a fucking kid, a teenager, or a baby, or like an adolescent that is pretending to be drunk. Because at some point I had drank myself to a stupor, to where I was clearly intoxicated in every way. It affected my brain, my memory, my speech. I could carry myself. I have, no strength. I'm useless. And unlike other times, I always had lots of energy. I was the loco dancing drunk. So I'm taking these guys to the brothels. These are whorehouses in Germany that are located in Frankfurt, right outside of the train station. And every train station in most big cities in all of Europe have these small block areas that have drug dealers and high, like 4 or 5 or 6-story apartment buildings, full to the top with rooms on each side. On each floor, there's 6 or 8 rooms, and in each one of those rooms is a prostitute from Colombia, Venezuela, many from Argentina, Cuba, Nicaragua, many from Africa, France, the Ukraine, and the list went on and on and on. Many from Thailand, even some ladyboys for you guys that are into that thing. But all of these people had gone from their country all the way to Germany just to sell their bodies to random people in Germany in a hotel style, like turnstile. Like literally, there would be dudes in line waiting outside of these rooms. And of course, me, the drunken lunatic, and my 2 or 3, I don't remember, friends that came with me, which were not friends after this night occurred, by the way. And I'm dragging them with me to go inside these whorehouses. And I'm like, I will fuck you all up. And out of nowhere, one of the whores had called security. So in Germany, if you go into one of these whorehouses and they pick the phone up, like they pick the phone up off the receiver, that is the alarm for the security team to go to whatever room that they're in and go and beat the living fuck out of you. So that's how they handle stuff in whorehouses in Germany. So I would take in these guys with me, and I'm like, fucking screaming and yelling like a lunatic, and out of nowhere come the Gestapo fucking security, and they spray me in the fucking face with mace. This is what I'm told. I don't remember any of this. And what happened was my friends were downstairs in the stairwell because they're not dealing with me. They're like, he's out of his mind. He's crazy. And I'm whacked out on whiskey. So I'm getting sprayed in the face. And I'm like, fuck you. I fucking kick all your asses. And my friends, I can hear them downstairs. So the following day, I'm told by one of my friends, I asked him, I was like, did you have a good time? He goes, what? What are you talking about? Did we have a good time? You almost got us all killed. I was like, what? I go, yeah. I said, look, man, all I remember is we got off the train. He goes, yeah, we got off the train. And I said, yeah, I took you guys to a brothel. He goes, oh, you don't remember anything, do you? I was like, no, I remember taking you guys to the fucking brothel, and I was getting sprayed in the face with mace, so I'm told. And we had a great time. He goes, no, 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 bro. You took us to a fucking mafia house where there were goddamn Russians and Serbian and Polish, like Eastern German fucking hitmen. And they were all doing speed and lines of whatever. And we're not allowed to be anywhere near drugs, first of all, because we're all military. And we're not allowed to be around Russians, especially mobsters. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what the fuck you're talking. I don't know any mobsters. He goes, oh yeah. And then they took us downstairs even further into a great big like hall where they were playing jazz music, and they sat us down at this table, and they started giving us girls and vodka. And you started drinking all the fucking vodka because I didn't want any, because I'm not going to go out of control like you. And they did something. You got up, dude, and you started fucking dancing around like a stripper. And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, you got up and you fucking whipped your fucking pants down, and you're running around like a fucking male stripper. Like you're like going crazy because they're playing this oots oots music, and the girls are going crazy for you. So you're just like feeding in on it. I'm like, no goddamn way, no way. And he goes, no, 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 it gets better. You got on top of a glass table, and as the girls were pulling your fucking pants down, they pulled you completely through the glass table, smashing the glass table. You have your pants halfway down around your fucking your thighs. And one of the Russian guys, one of the Russian fucking ass kicking mobsters that invited us to this private party, well, that was one of his friend's girlfriends. So, needless to say, that getting you out of this thing that you had gotten us into because of your stupidity and your drunkenness, now I'm actually changing my life goals of whether or not I even want to be in the military anymore, or if I survive this. So I appreciate you never calling me again, because I can't ever be around you, man. You're an out of control lunatic, and I'm lucky to be alive right now by the grace of God. And I'm telling you guys, I'm taking my relationship with God to a next level just because of what the fuck you put me through. Don't ever call me again. I was like, what? Click. That was the end of that relationship. Now, there was more to the story that I could go into in depth. But the fact is that every single time that one of us, and when I say one of us, and I'm talking about people who have been sanctified by the blood of Christ, people who have been saved by the grace of God through the power of Jesus, not through good works, not because I'm a good person. It's because you tell the decision that says, I can't do this on my own. I want to go to heaven. So Christ Almighty, come and be part of my life, come in my heart, and take away my sins. Change me from the inside out. And I'll be saved from the future of death and destruction. Now, we don't know how that even plays out. We don't even know, because the moment that we say that, we are sanctified by the blood of Christ because we've accepted him as a personal savior. Now we can take it a step further and say, hey, now that we have this in us, we have superpowers. And so if we have superpowers, we need to learn how to use these superpowers, because the ones that are affecting us in the world are of the world, and we are not of this world. So we are oil and water to a lot of people around us, because they are possessed of the devil. They are of this world, which means they are of the devil. And if you are not of the devil, and you are not still of this world, and you have been sanctified by the blood of Christ, and you said, I'm rejecting all degeneracy at this point. It's this thing that bothers me the most about this world. And I think that's what pushed us over the edge. It's been degeneracy. And I'm not some saint, you guys. I'm telling you that the reason why I'm even talking about this is because I saw the way my life was going, and I see all these other crazy people in the world, and there's enough of those. You know what I mean? Just add me as one of them to it. But I'm going to make the decision not to do crazy stuff, or I'm going to stop doing crazy stuff like having unprotected sex with random chicks from fucking bodybuilding shows, because they let you do that. And I'm not going to be hanging around with, I do AA meetings, but it doesn't mean I hang out with AA people. I don't hang out with AA people. I don't hang out with people who are still got broken, issues in their life. I don't invite AA people to my house anymore. I don't bring people who are not sober several years to my house. Don't hang around with them, because you are the circle, the five, you are the sum total of the 5 people that you hang around with the most. Do you want to put yourself in danger the way that I put myself in danger? Or do you want to make this decision and say, hey, I'm going to make the decision now. I don't know what's going to happen, but the professor's talking about this thing being real. So I'm going to give this thing a shot, because there was something my grandma told me and it turned out to be true. Well, here we are, 2024. The world is on fucking fire. The devil runs the United States. And I don't think it's a question of you running behind me and going, let me go ahead and Google that first and make sure that what you're saying is true. Because I could be bullshitting. But the evidence of the devil's presence all around us is very fucking real. So let's talk about the evidence of faith. And I do care about what happens to a lot of you guys that come and listen to me, because some of you are ahead of me, and I'm grateful for that. And some of you guys are behind me, and some of you guys are right on the same path as me. And I love that, because mentorship really comes down to somebody that can, not just an older man that can impart wisdom to you, but a younger guy that you can help also mentor. And that's how this actually works. So it's not just you mentoring somebody, but somebody's also mentoring you at the same time. And that's part of the reason for my talks, because if I go bye-bye, who in the hell else is going to fill in the blanks for some of you guys that really need to know what to do in life? Because I've made this mistake. I've chosen to go against God, and it made me miserable. And yes, I've been around the world and I've seen all kinds of stuff, but I could have done all these things the same way and still been at peace with God. In fact, my life probably would have been better. Part of the reason probably why I never got rich is because I always did stupid shit with my money. Part of the reason why God said, I'll probably, let you dabble and let you see what it'd be like to be wealthy, but you're too corrupt. You're too corrupt of a person to be handed that level of wealth and to be able to understand it. So I'm going to let you suffer for half your fucking life until you can finally get your head out of your ass, start being honest with people, and then I will bless you. But until then, you're going to suffer. You're going to be on a treadmill of loss. You're going to think you're getting ahead, and every time you try and get ahead on some bullshit, you're going to fall 50 moves behind once again. And it seemed to me like it was a cycle of losses. Until I turned my life around, I said, you know what? I know for a fact that God exists. He's been with me all this time. And then out of nowhere, this fucking gigantic angel appears to me. Literally in December 2 years ago, appeared to me and Claudia while we're out walking around right after a funeral. And we touched the camera. They touched it, the camera, both of us at the same time. The camera somehow went off while we're holding the camera. And then when we looked at the picture on the camera, it was this huge angel that had like these electrical fields around it, had these giant purple and white, like fluorescent whitest white you ever seen, feathers. And it looks like a white electrical explosion happened all around. We were far away from it when it happened. I'd say that if you were to say, like the length of across the street, double that. That's how far away we were. There was no sound. We took the picture. We didn't think anything of it. The light was light in not like a bright like a flashlight in your face, but it was a large white like fog all around me, and I felt the heat from the fog around me on the backside of my head right here. And still not understanding what exactly is happening now until we got home later and started showing the pictures to people. They were like, "Well, that looks like an angel." I was like, "Where?" It's like, "Yeah, well, I see feathers and all that, but I don't see no head." They go, "That's because that's the very bottom of this thing. This is only like his toes, and all those feathers that are there, those are wrapped around his feet." So this thing was as large as a telephone pole, if not taller, and I was only seeing the bottom of it. But the electrical stuff that went around it, that was neat because it actually like showed like electricity in motion. And it was almost like if you had a high-speed camera that was set to a certain setting and you could get like trails for like traffic at night, that would be like the movement. But this thing had a like a movement where the electricity from this thing was going in and out and up and down and around and around. I can't put into words. So after this happened, it was pretty much I started having some problems with people here. Started having issues with people in San Diego, and then I was in San Diego and I was on my way because we got those Joe Biden checks for coronavirus. I gotten one, and so I went to the U.S. I went across the border and from Tijuana into San Isidro. Went to the bank like I always do and said hi to everybody. And then I gave them the check and then I put it in my pocket, left, and I'm on my way to where the taxis are. And this dude comes running at me just fucking full bore. It looks like a big Viking, a homeless Viking. And the homeless Viking, I see him goes, "Ey!" And I'm like, oh shit. He has no shirt on. He's wearing jeans. And I look back and I'm like, he's like, and I'm like that. And immediately the dude's pants fell down below his knees and he like did the Flintstone flop right into fucking traffic. Whap right on the fucking ground because his pants had fallen down below his knees and he was totally naked at that point. He was like wearing like he wasn't wearing underwear and he was wearing jeans and he was running after me because he saw me coming out of the bank. So the angel pantsed his ass. And then I got home and I suddenly realized what had happened. I was like, there's a dude that was literally this big fat blonde haired dude with a beard and you know what I mean? Just like a Viking, like a homeless Viking. Come fucking running at me, like full bore running at me. I'm like, oh shit. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to run away. I just literally walked. That dude he was pantsed by an angel. So these little things that happen like this, that I know it seems ridiculous to some of you guys. Like I said, I'm not one of these people that signs up and says, "Oh yeah, let me tell you about angels that I saw and that are doing all this stuff to me without any proof." You know what I'm saying? It's like ridiculous. Why would you say stupid shit? There's enough people lie about what they do enough. So why are you gonna try and pull that shit and say you have angels with you? If I didn't have that picture, I would not believe it myself. I'd always felt the presence of something, but I didn't know what it was. But I come to find out there's not just one angel with me, but now there's two. This one is not as big as the first one that was with me. He was with me all the time, by the way. He's always here. Like the presence of a person in my house is what it feels like. But I know there's two of them. There's always one here, and there's always one somewhere else. Or they're always both here, or they're always whatever. So what does it feel like? It feels that heat on my head again. And it is definitely like a light that's shining behind my head. Like if someone was to take a flashlight and shine it behind my head, I would see like this, like the light coming around my head, obviously. But there's more to it than that because it doesn't matter where I go. It doesn't matter if I turn my head quick to see if he's there or not. It doesn't matter because I don't see him. But I feel the presence of this thing with me all the time. So now that I know this, I'm going to tell you about when I was in Fiji And there was a girl that I was seeing that I had no idea was married. And she had a kid with this German guy. And so when they left Fiji, I thought that they were like, alone. She was fucking hot, dude. She was like 6 feet tall, huge rack, long curly hair. I would consider her to be melanated. She did. She spoke like a German, so there was no accent to indicate otherwise. But she was Fiji, and I used to wreck this chick as hard as I possibly fucking could because she hated my ex girlfriend so much. And I think it was like a grudge fuck. I think that she hated my ex girlfriend so much and she just wanted to just beat her fucking ass. But instead, she wanted to make sure that I got, pulled into her craziness world so she could you fight with my ex-girlfriend, and I was happy to have her. I was happy to oblige. But what she did not tell me was that she was still married to this big German guy. When I say big German guy, I have competed against big German guys. When I say big, and I mean their biceps are the size of my fucking head. That's how big their delts are. They're tall. Dude, these guys are like 6'6", 300 plus pounds, and they're jacked. They're not just fat, they're huge dudes. She was a big chick. She looked ideal for a guy that's probably 6'6", 300 pounds until I saw what he looked like. It was a snowy morning, and she had invited me over to make me some fucking Fiji food or some shit. I don't remember. But she wanted to get dick down. So I said, okay. And I came over and I go to her house. I go into her fucking house, into her bedroom, and I start to wreck that shit. And she hears bam, 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 bam. It's her ex-husband or husband and her kid. And she's like, oh, go get in the closet. The closet in Germany is a Schrank. So it's like a exterior closet, like one of those metal, like Foot Locker closets. So I'm in this Foot Locker closet where I could see out the crack of the double barrel barn doors of this metal closet that I'm inside of, hiding from a grown man who could kill me. And I felt my blood drain inside my body like this. I felt my blood go cold. And it wasn't from the fucking 4 foot of snow outside that I was going to have to run through barefooted in the next 10 minutes. So she started a disastrous fight with the guy. Kid is running around all over the fucking house going, mommy, 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 mommy. He's like, and let's go to Schrank. I bring this home. I'm going to kill him. That's what he's saying. I kill him. I don't know who he's talking about. I just know that I don't know this guy, and she knows now that I know that she's married. So I'm inside of this Foot Locker shitting my fucking pants because the kid is outside the Foot Locker. And I don't want him to see me. But I'm holding the inside of the doors together, pinching it with fucking all my might without making any noise. And I hear, mommy, 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 mommy. And I look, and there's Dad. Dad is scanning the room. Dad is scanning the closet. He's looking at the bed. The bed is fucked. Like he could have gone over to the bed right there at that moment and had physical evidence that there was a dude there. That is how quickly this could have been over with. However, it was so amazing to see that just as the kid is about to ruin my hiding spot, somebody ding dong rings the fucking doorbell because they hear the screaming going on from the man next door. But instead of sending the police, they send the Jehovah's Witnesses to knock on the fucking door and talk to them about the Jehovah's Witness movement in Germany. And that was my moment. I knew it was the chance I was looking for. So when the man was going to the door to look for somebody to fight, I found the back fucking door and I found my way out because the kid was distracted. Now I took all my clothes and my shoes and stuffed them into my shirt, grabbed all my stuff. I'm in my boxer. No, I'm naked. I'm in totally naked. Go out the back door, close the fucking door, I'm trying to run down the stairs and the stairs are all frozen and and they're all cement. So I'm hauling fucking ass. I've not been known as a fast runner. And I'm pretty sure I set some fucking, 441 motherfucking relays there, records and shit. Cause I ran like my ass was on fire. And I knew that if that guy caught me, that he would kill me. He would kill me. Like, not just like the way that he talked to her, that was an abusive situation. Like, that girl put me in danger. So I say never simp, you guys. Never simp and never be a simp enforcer. Because you have no business being in a married girl's house. That is why I say if you get your life right, you're not going to be chasing these girls around because they're not on your level. So it's all dumb to even fucking think about. So, once again, my life was saved from ruin. But that's not the theme here. That is not why angels are here to protect us when we make stupid mistakes. Although we do get protection, just like the Secret Service 24 hours a day. We have armed guards everywhere, every single day, 24 hours a day. And we have goodness and mercy, two giant fucking angels that are always with me all the time. So why would I walk in fear? Well, I'm not going to walk in stupidity. You know what I mean? Even though, Donald Trump clearly has an angel that, moved his head at just the right angle so he didn't get mortally wounded. You know what I mean? He's like, that's what it is. These guys don't separate us from that much danger. Like look at what happened to the Orthodox bishop. Look what happened to the bishop in Australia. He lost his eye. He got stabbed in the eye by that Muslim kid. So no, that does not guarantee that we will always feel. Well, we might always feel a certain way, but we got to use logic and not walk around in South Central at midnight, and looking for hookers and drugs and expecting the Lord to bless us. You follow me? We're not supposed to be doing these things. We have to turn from our sins, which means repenting means turning around from doing that which controls our lives. And so if we're getting in trouble because of the decisions we're making and we stop making those decisions, then that means our environment needs to change as well. So we don't get caught up in these same vicious circles of doing the same dumb things over and over again and expecting a different result. Because it never works out. It always ends up in pain. And that is why it's easy for us as passport bros who have got our passport and left the country and said, yo, I'm not going to deal with none of that anymore. We are living in a godless nation. I'll go live in some Catholic country. I won't care because at least they have some values. I'll go somewhere the Philippines. That's like big time Catholic. I'll go there because they have values. You don't hear about people going from there to the U.S. for values. They go there for money. Only reason why people go to the States is to go to Disney World, but the real is to go earn dollars. And then to go, what is that? Repatriate that shit. Or to buy and sell gold from your country and sell it in the States for a profit, or gemstones. One fella I met on a fucking plane, he's like, the smartest thing to do is just buy gemstones, because once you put it out there, they scan it. It's not dangerous. They don't know what it is. Throw it in your pocket. Okay. So you're a smuggler, I guess. Okay. Well, everybody's got their niche. Well, I'm not smuggling anything anymore, ever. So I'm not involved with any of that stuff. So I'd rather be having my sandwiches, my lady, than and not making any money than to make millions of dollars but not have the integrity to live with myself anymore. Because that's not what I was made for. I was here to help people, and I'm good at it, and it makes me happy doing it because it's a therapy. That's why we're here. We're all doing therapy to get over being worldly. I think being worldly probably messed me up the most things because I'm not built for that. I'm not made to be that way. That's like that poor girl from Thailand that has never been around Western men ever, and her parents sell their daughters to a brothel in Bangkok that throws her into a bathroom-sized room where foreign men come in and jizz on her all day for in exchange for the same price as a caramel macchiato venti. And I have a very big problem with that. Problem is, it's not my culture, and I can't really control it. What I can do is control what's around me, and a lot of times that is out of my control. So I have to call upon the Most High, and see, He has sent angels to me when I least expected it. Sometimes He had sent them before I had even asked. It would have been a vision or something that happened in my mind that would have been the day before, and the following day, there it is. Presente, presente, presente. Anyway, this is going to be a quick one because there's not too much that I can report on outside of the two very large angels that have appeared to me. And if you want to talk about more, sure. But reality is that whatever it is that you think that is going on around you is not what you think. There is a great present darkness around us. And it's really up to us. I'm helping you to liberate you from the cemetery of your mind. That's it, you guys. I hope you get some help from this shit because it's never ever good to be possessed by the devil. And a lot of people that you know really are. Don't get mad at those people. Instead, let's do some exorcisms, use some Christian superpowers we got now. I'm the professor, y'all, and I'm out.